So a little bit about the CitiObs project. So the CitiObs project, we are a group of citizen science enthusiasts that we are coming from different disciplines like social science, natural science, also technologies, data interoperability, and also design and art. And we together, we want to enhance citizen observatories so that the data that they are collecting and all the insights that they are gathering can be used in policy and science to address the urban challenges that we are facing, as for example, air pollution. To do that, we decided to work in what we call a socio-technical methodology. Why is that? It's because we believe collecting data alone is not enough. We need to make sure that this data is validated, so it increases trust on the data that we are collecting, but also that this data, it's interoperable and fair, so we don't work on silos. But still, like, we also need that we have this inclusive stakeholder engagement and also increase trust, not only in the data, but also increase this trust among all the stakeholders, participants, and make sure that our citizen observatories are inclusive. And last but not least, we also believe that citizens and communities can lead actions to protect the environment. So we are enhancing these social dimensions and technical dimensions. We are working in 3 phases. So up to now, we've been working with 5 frontrunner cases. And now in 2025, we will start working with all of you, these 30 alliance cases. And later in the project, we will also welcome other 50 fellow cases. So at the end of this journey, we will be working with a total of 85 cases in Europe. So the 5 frontrunner cases that we've been working are all working on air quality, but they have different sizes and different challenges. So we have Kristiansand, Rotterdam, Dublin, Barcelona, and Athens. And today, this workshop is devoted to you, to the 30 alliance cases. Together with you and the frontrunners and the new to come fellows, we want to get this improved trust among the CEOs, stakeholders, and wider the participation on citizen observatories. We aim also to have validated data in your CEOs that can contribute to science and policies, and also accessible and inclusive technologies, tools, methods, and approaches that we can create together, and also new citizen-led actions to protect the environment. And with that, I just give the voice to my colleague, Joao, who will let you know more what's in it for you. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Nuria. Good morning, everyone. Let me also share my screen. I hope you can all see my slides. Okay, great. Okay, so good morning, everyone. Very happy to be here with you. As Nuria said, this is a very special moment of this project. We're, let's say, going to the next stage of the project. We started working with these 5 different citizen science projects.
You're muted, Joe.
Sorry, I was speaking for 5 minutes already. So good morning, everyone. Sorry, can you hear me now? Okay, great. I was just saying that I'm very excited to be here. I mean, as Nuria said, this is a very special moment for this project. We started with the 5 frontrunner cases. These are 5 different citizen science projects in Europe in 5 different cities. And now we're working with 30 new projects, you that are here present. So we're happy that you're here. As Nuria said, now I wanted to go quickly through is in this project to you, why this should be important to you. So we really hope the way that we're developing this project is to make it useful to you, to make actionable. If it's not meaningful, then we lost our purpose. So hopefully this is also exciting to you. As she showed, we have projects from over 13 countries. We have countries such as France, Belgium, Turkey, the Netherlands, Ireland, and many others. We have worldwide projects. We have cross-border projects. So also very exciting to have this, let's say, reach in the region. And we can see you have different perspectives, multicultural cohort. So very interesting from the start. And each project have, let's say, your own, let's say, particularities, different urban environmental challenges. So this is something interesting as well. So in the application process, when you fill the application process, we receive your responses. We could see what are the main challenges that you're working on, right, in your own projects. So as you can see from the 30 selected projects, we have most of them, so 20, answered something related to air quality. Maybe other topics as well, but air quality was there. We have also lots of responses related to noise pollution, urban heat, water quality, and biodiversity. So also interesting to see how these connections are forming. And we're very hopeful that the work that we're doing at CitiObs can be useful in these dimensions, in all of these different topics. Of course, there are other topics that you're also working with, very interesting topics. And we're also very, I'd say, optimistic that you can use our tools, maybe not specifically to solve all of your problems. That would be great, but at least to make it useful in other topics as well outside of this. But yes, these are the main topics that we find in this cohort. So we started with selecting this cohort. We identified most of the self-reporting challenges you have in the application process. The next step was identifying what you're interested in working, what are your needs. So that's why we sent to you this, what we call the needs assessment tool. So just to remind you, we sent this online form. You also had a PDF where you could see the big picture, but basically you had to answer this online form, where we asked you to go through topics related to creating a strong foundation to citizen science projects, diversity and inclusion, engagement and participation, citizen-led actions, and environmental monitoring. And into each one of these topics, you had subtopics. So basically, all of you did this exercise. So thank you so much for sending this back to us. That was very insightful. You went through each one of these topics and you chose maybe a subtopic that you're interested in, another that you're not, another that you are, and so forth. So you did this for all of the different topics. So in the end, that allows us to have this little map of the main needs that each one of you have, at least in this exercise. Of course, we work on more about on this later. But we have this first good idea of your needs. And also we have the big picture. We can see the aggregate answers that you gave as a cohort. So for example, this is not comprehensive, but for example, into the topic of creating a strong foundation, most of you said that you're interested in, and then you answered with, I would like to be more inclusive of groups that have a stake in the issue of my observatory addresses. Then in diversity and inclusion, most of you answered, I would like to strengthen my understanding of data collection and sharing processes. The engagement and participation topic, most of you answered, I would like to include citizen-generated data into policymaking. For citizen-led actions, I would like to reflect on the effectiveness of citizen-led actions. And for environmental monitoring, I would like to make the data we collect more understandable for non-experts. So this is just, let's say, the big picture, just so you understand what we're doing in the backstage, processing all the data that we're collecting from this application process. This is not comprehensive. We will be working with other topics as well, but with this, you can have a feel of the, let's say, the most common answers that you gave to us. Okay, so we know now who you are, where you came from. what are the main needs that you have, what are the topics you're interested in working on during this project. Now, as CitiObs, we want to connect your needs with the work that we're doing internally. So internally, we are developing what we call toolkits. So basically, these toolkits are trying to tackle different challenges that citizen science projects have. And we have several toolkits. We're working together with the frontrunner, Citizen Observatories will be working with you, and hopefully they can be very useful to tackle the challenges that you showed us. So what I'll do now is we have, as you saw, a very multidisciplinary team with experts from all over Europe. So I'm very glad to also call to the floor our toolkit leaders to just give you a quick presentation so you have an understanding of what these toolkits will be talking about. So let me start with the Citizen Participation Dynamics Toolkit. So I'll ask to Uta to come to the floor.
Thank you so much, Ran, and welcome and good morning to all of you. It's lovely to see you here, and also some familiar faces, and of course also the new ones. So my name is Uta Wien. I'm based at IHE Delft, and I'm happy to introduce you to the Citizen Participation Dynamics Toolkit that we have produced in CitiObs, where we're very much looking at how can we actually deal with the different kind of dynamics that the people involved in Citizen Observatories have. We know this also from other project contexts. Sometimes things just work out smoothly and sometimes not so. A particular issue in Citizen Observatories is really how we build trust and cooperation. Sometimes some really difficult decisions have to be taken jointly. And I was very interested also to see how many of you are interested in how we can actually ensure that the data produced by Citizen Observatories is taken up by decision makers, policy makers, and important decisions. So in this toolkit, we have provided guidance on how we can address these different issues. There's specific methods and resources provided, and I really look forward to working with you and applying specific tools within this toolkit. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Uta. Okay, this is great. So let's go to the next one. The next one is the Citizen-Led Action Toolkit. So for this, I'll invite Jessica to the floor.
Thank you so much. Hello, everyone. My name is Jessica Guy. Even though I do not have the wonderful background as my peers have, I am also part of the CitiObs project. I am located at FabLab Barcelona at the Institute for Advanced Architecture. Here, I lead a project and a community that is called Distributed Design. In the context of CitiObs, we are supporting you, hopefully in the next few months, with the Citizen-Led Action Toolkit. Our toolkit really aims to support you or citizen communities that are motivated to take action in the context of environmental protection. So all of the things that you kind of mentioned to us in your application form as well. The toolkit includes different kind of co-creation tools that helped and that try to help you to devise, organize, and deliver citizen-led actions. It specifically actually focuses on working in with the creative and cultural industries. We think there's so much potential in that collaboration between creative practices and citizen science initiatives. So we really try to focus on that. And all of this, we really also try to get inspired by and work towards some of those new European Bauhaus principles that we've seen surrounding us in the recent years as well. So any questions in regard to this and in the future meetings that we might have, I will be your contact point.
Thank you so much, Jessica. All right, so moving on to the next one, the Leave No One Behind Toolkit. For this, we have Margaret.
Thank you, Joao, and it's nice to meet everybody in the Alliance group. I'm really looking forward to working with you all. The Leave No One Behind toolkit primarily has a number of different kinds of tools and facilitation techniques to aid reflecting on who might be missed in our initiatives and our local actions, thinking in terms of, for example, who's unequally impacted by the issues that we're investigating, what communities or groups or areas of residence in the city might be unequally impacted, and how we can make space for them to join us in these activities. Also thinking of things of what scope do they have to be able to take part in a deeper participation, or perhaps it's more light touch opportunities for discussions or dialogue with each other. And all aligned with the principles that are in the Sustainable Development Goals to leave no one behind in these activities that we're doing together to try and address these issues. So in any kinds of actions that we're taking, for example, to improve air quality, that we're keeping in mind that people should be equally benefiting from any actions that are taken to improve those. So it's a number of materials, a workshop, slide deck, for example, diving into the concepts behind Leave No One Behind, behind concepts such as diversity and inclusion, and also equity, environmental justice, and some aids for having those discussions either amongst your leadership teams and your initiatives, or perhaps with key participatory groups or community groups that are already engaging with you, to have that conversation about who might be being missed and how can you have attention for including them in some way. So look forward to opportunities to explore these together with you, and also see if they're genuine aids in having those conversations and identifying actions that can be taken, and continue to talk about what other tools might be needed.
Thank you so much, Margaret. All right, so now moving on to the next one, to the environmental monitoring toolkit. So here, I guess we'll have Nuria and maybe Oscar.
Thank you, Joe. So in the environmental monitoring toolkit, this is going to be an open door also to all the technological tools that we are developing. And many citizen observatories are using low-cost sensors, diffusive samplers, or other methodologies to monitor the environment. So here we aim to lower the barriers to the use of those tools, so that other people that is not so technologically that knows so much, that doesn't know so much about technology, can also feel comfortable using these sensors for monitoring the environment. Also help people to plan the protocols on how to monitor, how to use them in a sensitive way, so that they end up answering the questions that you have in your citizen observatories. So we have also how to choose the right sensor, what pollutants or what variables do we want to measure, but also like how to improve the quality of the data that we are collecting, how to make this data that don't create silos, but also make this data more fair, so that can be findable and accessible to others, and interoperable among citizen observatories, so we can not only have the data that we are collecting, but also cross-fertilize with data that is collected in other citizen observatories, and especially also to prepare this data for decision making. And as I said, this toolkit is also going to be the open door to the entrance door to the technological tools that we are developing. And I think now Joanne is going to explain more about the technological tools. So looking forward to work with you.
Thank you so much, Nuria. Yes, Joan, if you can maybe help us with a word here for the technical components. That's another very important part of this project.
Yes, so what we are offering here as the technical components are a way to hosting your data in an interoperable way. The interoperable means that your data will be able to be integrated with other data sets provided by other citizen observatories into a greater database, or a bigger database that is useful for purposes that maybe were not initially intended in your observatory itself. We are also working on tools to actually analyze the data, and I like this diagram in particular or this picture that we are seeing in the slide, where you see these pies and bars. So local communities will be able to actually extract information from the data. Quality flagging and quality control is another of those things that we can provide. So kind of a summary is the data hosting in an interoperable way, the data analysis for your local data, and the data quality protocols.
Thank you so much, Juan, and thank you so much for all of you, all the toolkit leaders that spoke. I think that's a great way for all the participants to also see the different experts we have in our team coming from they're working with different teams all around Europe. So again, we have different perspectives on how to solve these challenges. And as you saw, these toolkits are, let's say they range from social to technical issues and social technical issues at the same time. So as I said, they will be, of course, focusing on this, let's say, major urban environmental challenges that you reported on the application process, such as air quality, urban heat, noise pollution, water quality, and biodiversity. But as you saw, they can also be applied more generally in other topics, some of them, of course, are more specific. So yeah, I hope this is exciting for all the participants and helpful. Now, we were thinking, we went through in this presentation who you are, who the Alliance Citizen Observatories are, what are your main needs, what we are working on, and hopefully want to work with you on. Now, how we can do this. So what's the work plan we have? So first of all, as I said, this is a very special moment of this project. We're scaling up to be now engaging with many projects all around Europe. So even if we wanted to, we cannot go to each one of you and work individually in all of your problems. So the way to do this, the way to mainstream, let's say, the use of the toolkits, of the work that we want to have, is by clustering. So clustering is the jargon to say we'll be grouping you, we'll be putting you in groups with similar challenges, groups that can learn from each other. So you can have not only this interesting engagement with CitiObs as a project, but also among yourselves. Okay, so this is something that we'll be doing in the backstage, using everything that we learned from the application process, the self-assessment tool that I showed, and also what we're learning today, and we'll put you in different groups. And these groups will be the ones that you'll be working during the CitiObs project in the next months and year. So, and also for each one of the groups, we'll be twinning this group. So we'll be connecting this group with one of the 5 front-runner citizen observatories. So that means that if we are 30, in theory, we'll have 5 clusters of 6 citizen observatories plus 1 front-runner case per cluster. So yeah, this is the approach we'll have to, let's say, mainstream our work. And together, we'll be going through different training sessions, online webinars, workshops, and pre-learning activities. As CitiObs, we'll do our best to support these activities. And as I said, hopefully you can also learn a lot from each other, because you'll be trying to, let's say, tackle the same challenges, maybe using the same kind of solutions in our toolkits. So you can also learn from each other. But of course, we'll have lots of focused training sessions to specific clusters. So it's also a way of really drilling down into each one of the clusters' needs. I think another very exciting part of this project is that we have the budget for in-person study visits. So not only will be doing all of these training sessions online, asynchronously or live, but also we can have an in-person study visit. So we have 1 study visit per cluster. So all of you should be able to go or organize 1 in-person event. So we can also do this in person and create this really stronger sense of community and networking. So talking about networking, this is something that will be done throughout the whole project. As Nuria said, by the end of this project will be 85 citizen science projects. So it should give us a very interesting, let's say, network. And also you have access to communities of practice, fab labs, maker spaces, and creative. So throughout the whole process, we'll be supporting this networking and connection opportunities. Okay, so this is the work plan. Now, let me just also talk about something that that Joan already talked about, Nuria talked about. I just wanted to to talk about again, because I think it's very exciting about this project, is that we have the budget to also provide a set numbers of sensors for monitoring air quality, noise, and temperature based on open hardware. As Juan said, the data from the sensors connects to an open data platform where all the data collected is stored and made available. And also you have the opportunity to connect your data to our hub using validation and mapping algorithms. So all of this was explained, but hopefully this is also exciting for some of you that need these sensors to give the next step in your project. So we can talk more about the details of this, the way to customize this in the future, but just so you know that you also have this opportunity. Okay, so now we have the work plan, the general work plan presented, but what about the timeline? So this timeline is still very generic. We still have to discuss the specific dates. So, and what I'm presenting here is the timeline for the whole project. So don't worry, you don't have to be in on every single instance that I'll be talking about. But in general, as you see, we're just now in the beginning of 2025. We're having the onboarding meeting together. As I explained, we'll be doing in the backstage now the clustering and twinning. So each one of you will be assigned to your groups that you'll be working together in the upcoming months. So the next step is really having these cluster meetings. So here, just again, so you to understand, doesn't mean that you have to be in cluster meetings for the next 3 months. That just means that probably in the next 3 months, we should have at least one cluster meeting per cluster. So you'll be participating in one where we can drill down, have this we can really understand what we need as a cluster, and also we can co-create together the work plan for this specific cluster. Of course, we have a general sense of what we want to do, but we can discuss internally as a cluster and see the best way of, let's say, engaging in our training sessions, in the study visits, and work together in the upcoming months. So the timeline could stop now, because in this co-creation events will be, of course, organizing the next steps. But just so you have a general sense of how we're planning this, we'll have the training sessions throughout the next months of 2025, 2026, and the beginning of 2026. The study visits, probably because they are in-person visits with lots of people traveling from all over Europe, we have to organize these events. So for the complexity of those events, probably they will be in the second semester of this year and beginning of 2026. And as I said, for the networking visit, that will be, as CitiObs will be doing our best to create these opportunities for you, the platforms for networking throughout the whole project. And for our support, of course, as CitiObs, we cannot, unfortunately, work with each one of you in all of the challenges that you have, but you can be sure that we will be here. You have our contact, our email. We are very responsive, and we'll be doing our best to support you throughout the whole process. In all of the different stages, you have the CitiObs team ready to support you with any questions, with technical and any kind of support. So I guess I'll finish here. Again, thank you so much. This is a very special moment for us in this project. This really marks let's say, the next step of scaling up our efforts in Europe. So thank you so much for being part of this.